Hello and welcome, old and new friends, to Good Questions with Cameron Dole, Season 6, Episode 2. My name is Cameron Dole, and today I'm genuinely thrilled to share a conversation with the extraordinary Inaz X. Now, over the course of the episode, we're going to explore the story behind the beats, how she found the courage to bend genres, the lessons learned in viral fame, and the creative rituals that keep the music flowing even when the world gets loud and chaotic. Now we're going to discuss her early inspirations, the songs, the sounds, and moments that sparked her passion for music. We'll also talk about breaking the mold, how she navigated the pressure to fit into a single genre and why she chose to shatter expectations instead. We'll also talk about that behind-the-scenes hustle, the late nights and the network of supporters who make it possible. And we'll also look ahead, Inez's vision for her next chapter, and how she hopes to inspire fellow artists along the way. Now, before we jump in, thank you to everyone for tuning in, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Look for Good Questions with Cameron Dole or just The Cameron Dole. You can also watch full uncut interviews on YouTube under the Cameron Dole page, complete with bonus stories and outtakes. All right, guys, sit back, take a deep breath, and let's dive into the journey of Inaz X. All right, super excited, guys. Special guest on with us today. She had a top 40 hit a few years ago with Love Is. Got a new single that dropped just a bit ago called Maniac. Inaz X on with us today. And first off, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Now tell us how things have grown over the last couple years. I mean, I know things have absolutely blown up for you, and how hard is it to manage being yourself on a daily basis?
I love that. I love that question because, I definitely have to separate Inez from Inez X and have the just a little bit of knowing the difference between the artist and who I just who I really am, just Inez. I feel like definitely the artist is always on go and doing the most and extra, but I feel like Inez is super chill. So I like to always balance it out and, take care of myself as much as possible as I'm working so much. And, a lot of things happen and, people, like change on you and things. So it's good to have a good support system and people who do love you around you and just good vibes. I feel like energy and my connection and my relationship with God has been everything because I feel like through the ups and the downs, I always go to God, like, especially in my good moments, actually, because I'm like, God, it's so good. Let's keep it this way.
Keep it going, keep it rolling, right?
Yeah.
Now, who are the folks, Inez? Who are the folks that you turn to in the tough times? Who are the folks that are always in your corner, always pumping you up, if you will, and really investing emotionally in you as well?
Honestly, my mother has been my biggest support system and my rock. And, Mother's Day just passed, but every day is Mother's Day for me because I love her so much. She's my everything, literally. So my mother, God, my mother, like that literally is like the order. And then, I have a really good people around me that I work with, my team, my friends. Like, if I ever need anything, there's so many people that I can run to. I'm just a very independent person and I'm very like I can figure it out myself kind of person, but most of the time and all the time I go to my mom, like all the time. Like I'm like, Mom, I don't know. Like, so it's nice to thank God. I'm so thankful that, I have my mother and, I didn't have the paternal aspect of my life, but the maternal aspect of my life is such an important factor. She's been everything. So thank God for that. But it is important to have, yeah, the right people. I like to keep, the positivity alive. But when I'm going through
Mm-hmm.
things, I talk to my therapist most. I've learned that that's most important because, it's, it's important. Therapy is so important. It's gotten me through a lot, and it's important to just like, I like people to see the best version of me,
Mm.
but thank God I have my mom to see all versions.
She said I could just break down and just be Inez, right?
Yeah, literally. Like she sees every version. Like she rarely sees the Inez X version. She just sees the Inez version.
Now the new music, Maniac, and I know you talked about having good vibes, and especially in the times that we're living in, it seems like there's so much division. And for you, how important is that bringing people together with music? Because then that's one of those things that can break down so many barriers.
Honestly, for me, that's like why I do this. I feel like I think music is the connector of cultures and the bridge between people. And I think that for me, like music is my main passion, and I'm so blessed that it's my career. But I feel like it's the thing that really brings people together. And I love when I see every single, like I'm a Middle Eastern girl, but I'm a New York girl, and I feel like when I see every race and type of person vibing to my music, listening to my music and singing my music, it just gives me like the ultimate feeling because I truly feel like, I'm such a global like artist, and I just love the world, and I just, even though I'm Middle Eastern, I love all cultures so much. So to be able to see people from all cultures and walks of life really like resonate with the music and resonate with the vibes, I feel like it's the ultimate feeling as an artist. It's like, wow, like I'm doing my job, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like, especially now as a Middle Eastern girl, especially now, I want to be able to bring all my people together. We've had religion and our countries and everything really separate us. And I feel like now more than ever, we need to come together and we need that representation.
And has how has that been emotionally for you, having to be out in front, and I know you get the questions. I mean, how hard is it for you to be realistic about it and still keep emotions out of it personally?
Honestly, it's as an artist, I don't know what these sirens are. Oh, listen, LA is turning into New York nowadays, let me tell you. But I feel like as an artist, it's important for me to, I didn't decide to be a politician. I decided to be an artist. And I think as an artist, your job is to reflect the times, but also express your emotions and have people relate to that. Like for me, I honestly hate politics so much, and I hate the political aspects of the world. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's just ruined us as like humans. And for me, I just want to be able to really see people come together and love each other more. And if I need to be that example for people, then I will. And I think that especially what I am and where I come from, and just especially being born in Brooklyn, New York, I think it's like, you are raised around everybody and you
Right.
have to be able to connect and relate and you know what I mean, be friends with everybody. And if not, like, New Yorkers have a hard exterior, but we're really sweet on the inside. And you be able to be friends with anybody no matter what race, color, size, any of that. So I feel like, for me, it's never about like I want to transcend what it means for race, color, religion. I want to be able to transcend that as a human. We are one, and I think that that's like my message, and that's like my whole purpose. So I feel like now more than ever, I feel like we need that because the world is so divided, and we don't need any more division.
Right. There's plenty we can be divided about. I promise you. Now,
We found every reason,
yeah, I
literally
know,
every
right?
reason that we can be divided. We found them.
You
Like
know, social media is nice to connect, but good gosh, I don't want to know what everybody thinks about everything, right?
No, literally, you have to filter it. You really do. I've had to learn how to filter the social media stuff because if not, it will make you literally crazy,
Now,
no doubt.
for you, I know that you've gone through physical and emotional battles in life as well, and for you to be able to, for others to see you strive past what others would say are limitations in your life. I mean, how much of a blessing is that in your life to be able to inspire others because of what you've gone through in your life?
Honestly, I feel like I love being able to redefine what it means to be a sick girl. I think that having gotten diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but like forever killing it. I feel like there's such a stigma with when you get diagnosed with something. It's like people like, it's a heavy burden and it's really hard to deal with. And I really truly believe that God gave me that as a blessing so I can feel
Mm,
and relate to people who are sick because I wouldn't be able to if I didn't have something myself. But I'm in such a great place and I feel so healed and I feel like healing is such a full-time job for me. Like, and it's really hard when you're on the pursuit of your career, no matter what industry you're in, to make sure you prioritize healing. But I think that that's the most important thing because you can't do anything if you're not healthy. And I think after I was diagnosed before the pandemic, but after the pandemic, I feel like health has become such a important thing for people
hmm.
and for me. And I think that, I always try to put it at the forefront of everything of how, I just love healthy lifestyles and everything that I like to do is all about healing mind, body, and soul, and all the things. Because, no matter who you are and what you have, we all are dealing with something
Right.
and we all have something. But at the end of the day, we have to figure out how to keep going. And, when you see somebody else who has something and they're killing it, you're like, oh, I could do it too. So I like always want to be like killing it and always be that version. But always, I do want to open up and always let people know that, hey, like, I'm sick too. I have something too, or whatever the sick thing, I have something too. I have MS. It's not easy, but I'm killing it. So we got to keep going. We got to kill it together. Let's go. Like, like we're not letting this stop us. Like we're doing it. You know what I mean?
Now, Inez, what has it taught you most about yourself and about on the emotional side, if you will?
Honestly, emotionally, MS is one of those things that has the most effect on your emotions, on anything autoimmune. You don't always see it, but it really affects your mental health. And, multiple sclerosis is a disease that literally puts you in a wheelchair. And thank God now there's so many technological advances that it does, you don't end up in a wheelchair, but, and all of these, Western medication and Eastern medication, because I believe in both. But, I feel like, it's hard because it's like you have to balance it all out and knowing what's going on and knowing everything with just everything out there, you're like, how am I going to heal with all of this stuff and everything out there? What am I going to do? But, I think it's just about like low stress levels and keeping yourself happy and not being sad and not being stressed and not and owning your own narrative of listen, like I was diagnosed with this, but I'm not claiming it. Like I don't go around holding it like, oh, I'm sick, no, 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 like I'm gonna kill it. Like it doesn't matter, you're sick, you gotta kill it, you're this, you gotta kill it, you're that, you gotta kill it, it doesn't matter, you gotta kill it. So figure it out, heal, pray, and let's go kill it, because like honestly, you don't have much time in life, but you got to make it worthwhile, like we got to make something happen. So it's like these are how this is what the cards were dealt, but oh, okay, fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this is what I gotta deal with. Like
Now, music. I know music is therapy for so many people in so many ways of their life. And how do you relate the therapy that you get from writing and pouring your heart out to others? And how hard was it at the beginning for you to be more vulnerable as you started finding yourself, if you will?
once I really started taking music seriously, it was actually really easy for me to be vulnerable and honest because I've always been a very open person. Like I've always been one of those that like just whoa and shares my whole life like instantly. Like I've always been that kind of person. So when I first really started diving into music, I just like started just feeling all these things. And when you open yourself up, like you just all these things start coming about. And you're like, I didn't even know I felt that. Like, what is that? I don't even know. And I remember writing a song for my dad that I never met. And I remember like I was in the studio and I was like, I made this happy song. It was the same week that I made Love Is. And it was like Love Is was like one of the last songs we made. But it was this song Open Letter, and I remember like we had just finished writing this song that I put out Gets Me High, and it was like a upbeat fun song. And then all of a sudden I went home and I just like was so sad. I had all these emotions and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sad right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm sad that I didn't know my dad. It was just crazy. Like I was going through all of this about not knowing my father and not knowing half of me and not how
Mm.
am I going to be okay not knowing this part of me. And I wrote this letter. And then from that letter, I made this song Open Letter that's about my dad. And it was just the craziest thing that happened to me. And I just felt like, okay, like it was one of those moments that I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, no matter what. Because how, the fact that you're able to transcend that
Mm.
pain and make it into a power, make it into something creative that other people can hear, feel, or relate to is like the ultimate feeling of like just joy for me. So I was like, oh yeah, I want to feel this feeling forever. And like, it's actually gotten, I think, harder to be as vulnerable. So now lately I've been like, you got to go back to that really vulnerable place, because I think you get a little bit fear of judgment. So I'm like, you know what, don't we all feel these feelings? Like go
Mm.
back to those real feelings. Like we're all human, we all feel the same feelings. Like just go back to that vulnerability because that is my job as an artist is to be as vulnerable as possible and have no fear of what that will, what people, what I mean? You got to just be however
Right.
people take it, like,
Now, for you, what has been the biggest, maybe the biggest bucket list moment that you've had so far in maybe playing shows, getting played somewhere? Maybe one that really stuck out for you.
I love that question. I feel like lately it's been the really like little moments that have had a really big impact for me. I think at the beginning it was a lot of like the bigger moments, and that's still, of course, the bigger moments. Like my first festival I ever performed at the Kind Festival, and it was like amazing in Palm Springs, and it was just like insane. It was like my first. Always that first is always like, it's always that amazing moment and feeling. But lately, it's also been like these little moments too, like yesterday, we had this, this choreographer reached out to me and was like, I want to put together this dance class for your song Maniac. I love it. And I was like, oh, I love that idea. So then, he put together a whole class. I stopped in, said hi, and I knew the choreo too, so I hopped in with them, and like it was just like seeing everyone just like vibe to the song, and like all the girl, like the girl, every color, every race, every shape, size, everything, feeling themselves and everything, and it was just like it was amazing. It was just like the best feeling ever. So I feel like lately I've been like enjoy the little moments too, because it's just like seeing that is like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. Okay, now, oh, that's why, like, okay. So it is that those things always happen for me. It's always like, oh,
Mm.
it's a full circle moment. Oh my God, I love this. I love that feeling, like, it's always a good time.
Now, who are the writers? Maybe the performers that inspire you as you like. Who's on your playlist? Who's the top on your playlist right now? Aside from yourself, I mean, obviously.
Right. No. Um, I I love all of the greats. I've studied all the greats and I love all the greats. Michael Jackson is my favorite artist of all time. But right now, I feel like I have been obsessed and loving all of the new girls, the new pop girls, like, but I am like a forever Britney and Beyonce and Rihanna and like, the big pop stars. I'm forever a stan forever for the rest of my life I will be. But I've been loving SZA. Summer Walker,
Mm.
I've been loving like all the new pop girls that are taking over, the K-pop girls, Jennie, and I love all the girls. I'm like, the girls are just killing it right now. So I'm like, I'm just loving it. So I do have them all on the playlist. I do a lot of studying of like, I've studied every genre of music and a lot of different artist stories. I'm just like such a nerd with it. So like I feel like I've always like like obsessing over a new artist. Like, "Ah, I love that girl." Like, like Jenny is the girl right now. I'm like, well, she's a Capricorn like me. I'm like, I need to work with Jenny. She's so cute. So like, I like love it. I'm like, oh, the Asian girls finally have the representation. I love it. I'm like, this is what the Middle Eastern girls need. So I'm like, I'm just loving it. And I always am just like diving in and just like always obsessing, but definitely obsessed with and always, Inez X on the playlist always.
Of course, of course. Now, how much easier has it grown to listen to yourself in the editing process?
Well, it's always really hard when you're like, recording and you're not hearing what you want to hear. You're like,
Mm,
oh, this isn't what I want to hear. Scrap it. Definitely feel like, patience is a virtue and you become less and less patient. So I definitely have been like, be patient with yourself too, like you might like that later, so don't just exit out. But when I drop a song, I've noticed that like I listen to it so much before I drop it that literally once I drop it in the world, I barely hear it like myself, unless I hear it somewhere, unless someone's playing it, unless some, you know what I mean? It's like literally, I'm like, oh yeah, it's me, and like literally, because I'm like literally on to the next, on to the next, what's the next song we're dropping? What's the next? What's on the project? What we're doing next? So it's always that for me. But I do have that moment where like someone might like the other day I was getting my hair done. My hairstylist was like just playing my whole playlist. And I'm just like, yeah, this is so funny. Like, but I was like, oh my God, I remember this song. I love this song. And it brings me back to these memories of this time or who I wrote the song about. And it's like, wow, like I remember that. That's such a good feeling. And it gives me this like other kind of nostalgia. So I do love it. But yeah, it's really interesting. Like once you put your baby out in the world, you're like, okay, my baby's out in the world. Let me see how people are gonna, you know what I mean? And then yeah, it's just really fun though. And then unless I'm like performing it or getting ready to perform it or all these things, I'm like listening to it again on like repeat and all the things. But yeah, it's like a baby. You just gotta like let it go. Like, okay, honey, it's time to go. Go out to the world.
go live your life.
Go live your life. Go live. Go rise. Go do your thing.
Now tell me where were you the first time you heard yourself on the radio, and what was your reaction?
I was living in New York still. I was in Manhattan, living in the city, and I was in the car and I remember like it was just like they kind of had told me like you'll be and I'm just like okay like I'm like waiting and then it's just like all of a sudden I'm just like that moment of like because I kind of was like prepared a little bit like oh we're gonna run your record on the radio tonight da, da, da. So I'm like okay let me see but you hear that before so you're like let me not get my hopes up
Right.
and I'm gonna get disappointed da 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 and then they actually played it, and I was just sitting in the car, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like just seeing my name on the radio, and just seeing. I feel like it definitely is a moment of like wow, I'm like, damn, did it? You know what I mean? It definitely is that moment, and honestly, I still feel that way anytime even if I hear my song playing, or like if I'm in a room and I'm here, it's me. Oh my God, I love that. I just still get excited. So I just like it's a good feeling, but that feeling was definitely one of the best feelings ever. Like honestly, I think that feeling, and it never really goes away, but at the same time, I do remember exactly that emotion, and I think that emotion is definitely a good emotion to like bask in.
Right. Now, as we head into the summer, how crazy is your schedule for the summer?
My schedule this summer is going to be insane. Like, I'm really excited. We're starting out. There's fashion weeks. There's tour plans. There's performances coming. There's project dropping. Like so many things. So it's definitely it's feeling amazing. This year has been absolutely amazing so far. So I feel like this summer is I'm feeling the energy. It's feeling like a lover girl summer. So I feel it.
So how do you set goals now that the way things have gone for you so far? As the new releases come out, is the goal setting ramping up for you as well?
I think there's a lot of goals that I still haven't reached. So I think for me it's like still like kind of always, like striving and not giving up and just, that feeling of like, oh, I want to do better, I want to do better, I want to do better. Like, so I think for me there's so much that I haven't accomplished yet that I really want to. And I think that after feeling the feeling of accomplishing a lot of things, I know that it just takes some time. But I think for me, the I've been writing out a lot of, like, I've been reading The Artist's Way lately again, and The Alchemist again, and just writing out a lot of my goals and my dreams and my intentions and even my fears, just all the things, so that I understand all the things and I know, okay, this is because I think it's important to know yourself first and know what it is that
Right.
you want to accomplish. And I think that writing it out has been like the thing. So, lately I've been like really specific and really intentional. And I think that I've been seeing a lot of things kind of manifest. So it's exciting. I think that, like, it's a really good time right now to manifest all your dreams, they say.
There you go. Now is the fears list, is it accumulating or is it diminishing?
I would say that when I write my fears list, I write things that I already am facing. Like, this is a fear of mine and I'm facing it right now. Like, just the fear of whatever it is. And it's like, but I'm going to face it. Or if it's another fear of, like, I think we all have the fears, but it's constantly facing your fears and then knowing that you are more powerful than that. You are bigger than your fears. Your fears don't stand a chance next to you. So it's almost like using them and utilizing your fears as motivation and alchemizing that too. So I think that that's what I've managed to do, because a lot of the time I would be like, I would with manifestation, sometimes you manifest your fears and your goals at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. So I think it's important to be very specific, and that's what I've been like learning lately. And I've been like, okay, let me be very specific, because I did notice that a lot. Like, I'm manifesting my fears and my dreams at the same time. Hold on, like, let me just figure this out really quick. Get back into the drawing board. Like, hold on. So now I'm like, okay, let me be more specific. And I mean, you can't prevent anything in life that's going to happen, of course. But I think that it's about putting your energy in the right places. And then I'll acknowledge the fear, I'll face it, and then I'll move on from it, because I don't want to dwell on it. Dwelling on things has made me crazy in the past. So I'm like, I'm gonna let it go. Let God.
That's good stuff. Now, Inez, if folks want to check out, obviously the music, the socials, upcoming tour dates, and opportunities to check you out, where's the best place for folks to catch all that stuff?
The great thing is that everything is the same. Inez X, Inaz X on everything, and the website inezx.com, and just everything is super cohesive and consistent and easy to find. And I think just stay on the lookout, stay tuned. There's a lot coming, and hopefully coming to a billboard and theater and radio near you.
That's right. That's right. Well, Inez, it has been great to have the chance to visit with you today. Thank you so much for your time and the inspiration that you've given us today.
Thank you, Cameron. I had a great time today. That was so fun. Thank you so much.
And there you have it. Season 6, Episode 2 of Good Questions with Cameron Dole, featuring the inspiring Inez X. Now, thank you for your honesty, your passion, and the reminder that creative authenticity is worth every risk. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive. Your curiosity is what keeps these conversations alive. Now, if today's episode resonated with you, here's how you can keep the momentum going. Subscribe and rate. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Your 5-star review helps others discover the stories. Also, stay connected. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Look up Good Questions with Cameron Dole or The Cameron Dole. Also on YouTube for full video versions, behind the scenes, and bonus content. And also, you can support the show. You can fuel future episodes by contributing any amount via PayPal. Just look for GQ with Cam. On Venmo, it's at The Cameron Dole, and on Cash App is the $ The Cameron Dole. Now, your support makes it possible to bring more artists, more stories, and more inspiration straight to your ears. Now, we'll be back with another guest who's rewriting the rule book in their own field, so stay tuned. Until then, keep asking good questions, stay curious, and take care of each other. I'm Cameron Dole. and I say thanks for listening. Gonna play you out with a good friend, Brandon Allen.